Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here then hello, thank you for clicking on. So in today's video I asked over on my Instagram like what palette you wanted me to use, because I was going to do an in-depth eye look for you, and you picked the Morphe 25C Hey Girl Hey palette. So in this video we have created this eye look. It's just eyes today, very in-depth, very focused on the eyes. This is the look that we created. I'm really impressed with how it come out, so that's a bonus. Before we do get into it though, please can you make sure you like this video and subscribe and all that good stuff, and if you want to see how I created this eye look then please keep on watching. Hi guys, welcome back. A bit different today. I've already got my base on. Ignore the giveaway in the background, that's really annoying. It's very sunny today. It's very sunny in England. Better days are coming guys, better days are coming. So anyway, got a face on because in today's video we're just going to be doing the eyes, and it's going to be like an in-depth eye tutorial. Over on my Instagram I asked, like I gave you 4 palettes to choose from, which ones you would like, and I'm actually surprised you went with the Morphe. So this is the 25C, it's called Hey Girl Hey. So it looks like this. I mean, I love this palette. I don't really reach for it like when I'm just doing a look. It's always out when I'm doing my clients, so I do use it, but I would never think, oh, I'm going to use that today on myself. I don't know why. So I'm quite happy that you picked this one. It makes a change from all my other ones, but as you can see it's still very neutral. Got a couple of pops of colour in there, a couple of shimmers as well. Let's swatch some of these bad boys. So go for this brown, this like reddy orangey, that purpley pink. Morphe shadows, like you literally just cannot, guys, the pigment on Morphe shadows are literally insane. Like you can't go wrong with them. I will always use Morphe. I feel like if you don't use Morphe shadows as a makeup artist, like what are you doing? Because they're so affordable, they're so good. You saw the pigmentation, and like they have got a palette for everyone. Even if you don't do makeup and like you're not a makeup artist but you want makeup for yourself, like Morphe is your safest bet. Look on their website, go in their shops. Soon we will be able to, and you will find one that's best suited for you. They're amazing, always love these. So what we're going to do today is I'm going to do one in-depth eye and then do the other eye off camera, but I feel like we need to get in depth with these eyes because that is what people always ask me about. Once you know your base, you're good. Do you know what I mean? But eyes, they take time to get better, and just they're always different, like when you use different colours and different palettes and stuff. So we're going to go in depth on the eyes today. So the first thing I would say with eyeshadow is you need to prime your eyelids. I 9 times out of 10 always go in with the Plouise Base. So this is an actual eyeshadow primer. So this is really good if you're working with like colour and you want the most intensity out of your pigments. It really brings out the colour payoff and everything, and it just gives you that blank canvas to start. If you don't want to spend money on an eyeshadow primer and you've got a concealer, that works just as fine. So go in with a concealer and then set it down. The thing I love with the Plouise Base is that you don't have to set it. So I have already put some primer on there. I'm just gonna buff out. Let's zoom you in today, shall we? Oh hey. Very up close and personal. So you just want to like buff out this Plouise Base so you've got no creases before you start, because if you're going to start with creases then your makeup's just naturally going to crease. You know what I mean? You need to get them gone straight away. I don't even know what colours to go in with. Feel like I'm looking at this row. This is what I'm feeling right now. I might do browns, of course, because we want to start in depth like on colours that you're gonna use. So I'm gonna go in with browns, but then I'm feeling one of these pops of colours. This is actually a shimmery shade. Might have to use that, but right. There are 2 different ways of doing eye looks. As you've probably seen before on my channel, the way I normally do it is I go in with the transition transition shade, which is your lightest shade that you're going to use, and then I go light to dark and in that way. But today we're going to do the reverse of that. So we're going to start with the darkest shade and then blend it out. When I do it that way, it's mainly because I want it to be more intense, if that makes sense. Because you're packing the colours on, you're going to get the highest amount of pigment payoff, whereas when I do it the other way around, I'm not packing it, I'm buffing it. It's going to be wearable, but this is like if for your clients, if they're going out and you want it to be not so much, still wearable, but not soft glam, if that makes sense. I'm going in with a shader brush. This one is from Beauty Bay. It's the, I can't remember what one this is, but you will notice it on the website because it's the one with the purple handles. But this is called I Aspire, but it's like a shader brush. So these are perfect if you are packing on colour. Only annoying thing with Morphe shadows is that there is no shade name. Well, there is, but it comes on a slip of paper, and who is going to keep the slip of paper? Not me. It's very annoying. So no shade names, but you'll just have to keep an eye. I'm gonna go in with this shade here. So it's like a medium brown. It's not the lightest brown, but it's not that dark. So we're packing that colour on. You want to tap it off a little bit. Again, because I have opened my eyes and stuff, we're just gonna buff out the top of my lid. And I'm just gonna concentrate this on the outer part of my eye. Just packing motions like that. So this way you are getting the most colour. I'm going to keep this quite rounded today. Normally on clients, I just, unless they ask for like a wing or like a winged out look, I normally just keep it to their eye shape. So this is what I'm going to do today. I'm just keeping it to my eye shape. So again, packing it on with tiny little like buffing motions. Can you see me? No. Why is my camera doing that? Packing it on, but then like slightly buffing it out as we go. The next thing you want to note when you are doing eye looks, you want to take it above your crease. You will naturally see your eyelid crease, and like if you put your brush in your socket, that's your crease. Really attractive, but that is your crease. You want to take it higher than that. The main reason for this is when I open my eyes, you still want to see the blend and the colours. You don't want to put it all on your lid space, because then when you open your eyes you can't see it. So as you can see, I'm opening my eyes, but you can still see this brown shade. But I'm now going to work it in, but I want the lightest amount in the centre. So starting here and just buffing that towards the middle, like so. You can still see it when I open my eyes. And one thing I would say is, if you are starting out, just go like little and often with your pigments. You don't want to go in with too much right at the beginning, because obviously it's then harder to correct. Or like, I mean, I normally always do my eyes first, but for the sake of this video I've done my base first. But one thing I would say, if you do like to do your base first and then your eyes, you're better off going in with little bits, so then you get less fallout. It's just, I don't really mind it. I feel like most palettes do give off a little bit of fallout. Cool, some palettes are ridiculous and it's a bit messy to work with, but it's not the be all and end all for me. It is what it is, really. I just obviously go in with a little bit at a time, and where I do my eyes first, I think that's why it's not really an issue. Now I'm happy with that product placement. I'm now gonna, with the same brush, just buff out the edges slightly. This is then gonna make it easier when you put down your next shade to blend it together. So again, the main thing with eyes, the lightest amount of pressure. You do not need a lot of pressure at all. Like, I'm barely touching my skin. Right, next, this is when you're going to go in with your lighter shade, and in this case I'm only going to use 2 shades, I think, at the moment. So this is working as like the transition shade, so this is what I'm going to use to buff this colour out. With eyes, the more precise you want your eye look to be, the smaller the brushes you use. As you've probably seen in my previous ones, if I'm doing like a soft glam, like I use quite big fluffy brushes because it's not that much of a precise look. But for this, we are getting a bit more precise, so I'm going in with a really small blending brush. This is a Doll Beauty DB13 brush, and I'm gonna go in with this shade here So it's got like a little, it's like a bit corally, is that the right word? Orangey brownie vibes. I'm just gonna tap that off. And starting again from the inner corner, you want to place this halfway on that shade that's placed and halfway off. That way you're getting that nice seamless blend. And again, the lightest bits of pressure ever. Like, you do not need a lot of pressure, and you're just doing circular motions forward and back. Circular motions just to buff this out. And I always say this, don't worry straight away. It's gonna look a bit crazy at first, but it all works itself out. You've got to really trust the process with makeup. So again, just still buffing out this first shade. So it's created like quite a reddy brown. Really light pressure. You can see I'm literally hardly using any pressure. And then the next important step as well with eye looks is you're not just going to go in with it like once and then expect it to be done. Where we have just buffed out that first initial shade, of course you're going to lose a bit of that pigment in that shade. So I'm going to go back in with the darker shade, and I'm just going to reinforce this really lightly, just more so like buffing it back in. Again, even though you're doing it like a bit quicker and not as precise, you still want to keep the pressure really light, just because we obviously have lost a bit of colour. And then without putting anything else on, I am just going to go over it slightly. Don't worry if you're thinking, oh, mine looks really messy. It comes together, I promise. And then, just because that red, like that corally reddy colour, is a bit like harsh and not blended properly into the skin, I am going to go in with another colour. So on a really fluffy brush now, like this is one of my big ones that you would have seen me use before. This is a BH Cosmetics brush. I'm going to go in with this shade here, which is literally like a skin tone colour and is really good for like your transition shade to really buff this into the skin. So really lightly, I'm just gonna like go over that last shade, like all around the edges, just to soften it. You don't want any harsh lines, and you know me, softer the better. Can you see what a difference that's made already? It just, like, again, really light pressure, but I'm just buffing that into the skin. But of course, again, I'm going to go in with that corally shade and just reinforce it. So it is just backwards and forwards. Like, once you have your colours and you place it, you've just got to keep going backwards and forwards to get the blend that you're then happy with. So it's just about taking your time, taking little bits at a time, and just, yeah, making sure that you've got a really seamless blend, because that is how you're gonna achieve the best eye looks. And it is just practice. Like, I used to find eyes really hard and like didn't really enjoy doing them, and like now I'm like, oh, I can't wait to do my eyes, like, because I don't know, obviously I'm still not like amazing at them. I'm still learning. I feel like you always are learning, but I definitely find them a bit easier and enjoy doing them now. But you've got to practice. I found I used to put off doing eye looks because I'd worry that I couldn't do them, but like, how are you gonna learn to do them if you just don't do them? So you just got to do them and you'll get better. Okay, I'm happy with that. I'm a perfectionist though, so you will see me keep going like this, saying I'm happy and then doing something else. I feel like this is like sunset-y sort of vibes. I don't know. Look at me. I've just said I'm happy with it and I'm still going. In the end though, there comes a point where you have to just stop, because I will be like this for ages and then I actually end up making it worse. So I'm gonna leave it. I don't know what I want to go in with. A shimmer. I think I'm going to go in with a mixture. I think I'm going to go in with this shimmer, And then I think I'm gonna do a little pop of that as well, because that's just calling my name. Right, we'll save a cut crease for another day, okay? Because they are hard. But we're warming up to that. I feel like I've only just really, I mean, I'm still not the best, but I've only just really started getting comfortable doing them. And it's my 2 years next month, so it's taken me 2 years. Like, don't stress about it. So it just takes time. Right, so we've got just another shader brush. It's a little bit smaller than this one, a little bit more precise. So we're going to use this to apply the shimmer. One thing I would say with Morphe shimmers is I would always wet my brush before using them, just to like get more payoff when you are using the shimmers, because they're not ones that you can just like go in with. I don't know, it makes it come off better. But we're going to go in with this one here. Again, it's like a coppery, like ready shimmer, and we're just gonna do the shape of a cut crease, but obviously when we're not cutting the crease, we're just gonna place this. So just starting here, wow, we're gonna just place it and then wiggle motions to create that cut crease without cutting the crease, if that makes sense. If you do get any fallout, don't worry, I'll just get my brush in a bit and it will just come off. It's not like the end of the world. Just make sure you tap your brush off, and that way you get less fallout. So I'm just wriggling it, and I'm going to take this like halfway, just over halfway in actually, just like here, like so. Wow, I'm loving this shimmer. It's actually come out, but I don't know if I've used these shimmers a lot, but it's come out better than I thought. And then of course, again, you're gonna get your brush you first used with the dark brown, and I'm blending this shimmer into that dark brown again, because you don't want any harsh lines, so you need to make sure that whatever you put down, you blend it into the next one. So I mean, I didn't use any additional product, it did sort of just like blend nice and easily, but if you did, just go with a tiny little bit of product and buff that out. I'm also gonna go around this shimmer again, just to blend it that way. It's just all about making sure it all blends nicely together. So again, as you can see, I'm repeating all the steps. Once I do it again, I repeat all again, so that it's nice and seamless. I'm obsessed. It looks a bit mad at the moment because we've only got one eye, but just what I use with powder, I just really lightly flick off any fallout. Right, and then I'm going to use the same brush but flip it over, and I am just going to try and put a little bit, I mean, I don't know if this is going to be a bit too bright. Let's just put a little bit right on the inner corner. It just gives a little extra pop. It's not too noticeable, but it gives a little extra pop of colour. But okay, that is the top of my eye done. Really impressed with it. Again, once I've got the other one on, it will look much better. At the moment it's looks a bit crazy, but I'm gonna do the underneath of the eye, and then I'll do the other eye off camera and be back. So for the underneath, so again, because on the underneath obviously you want to keep it quite precise, I'm going with a precise brush. This is literally a really teeny weeny brush. This is from Peach's Makeup, and I think it's a PC 30 or a 38. It's rubbed off, but it's really small, and I'm gonna go in with that first shade that we used, the brown, and I'm gonna get this as close to my lash line as possible. And you want to make sure that you are joining it to the top eye as well, like the eye look, just running it along. And then with a Morphe M562, which is just a small fluffy brush, nice and skinny. It's stained yellow, it's not got anything on it. I'm gonna go in with that next shade, which was the like corally, reddy, orangey colour, and I'm just gonna run this along. Again, really light pressure. You will notice when you start doing eye looks that you feel like you need a lot of pressure, but you don't. Like the smallest bit and it will make a really big difference, like so. So I'm going to leave it like that. I'm then going to take my Morphe liner in dark room, so it's obviously black liner. I'm going to put this in my waterline. Just find it really ties it all together when you have something in your waterline, like so. It looks really dark on this camera, but like it's not that dark in person. I mean, it's a dark art look, but it's not that dark. Right, so that is the eye look done. I look crazy, I know. I'm gonna pop off camera, do the other eye, add a pair of lashes, add my lips, and I'll be back. And I'm back. I'm obsessed with it, and that is what I mean by it doesn't all come together until like the very end, once you've got your lip on. So for lips, we actually kept it in with the Morphe Fam. We went in with Chippy lip liner, Morphe lipstick in Commit, and then I did go in with my Fenty gloss in Fenty Glow. So that is it. I'm obsessed with it. I'm really happy with how it come out. I always recommend the Morphe palettes. They are amazing, and like I said right at the beginning, you can literally get every single colour, and like there is always a palette for you. Like literally there is so much to choose from. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed the in-depth eye look. I feel like it's more beneficial when you just focus on one thing. Obviously, if there's any other palettes you want me to do, or even like palettes you want me to review and do an eye look on, then yeah, please let me know, because I like to do whatever you want me to do basically. But yeah, that is the video. If you enjoyed, please give a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And yeah, I will see you in my next one. Bye guys. Mwah.